The shining carpet. In Toy Story, don't look at Woody. Look at Sid's floor. This is a deliberate egg. In his bedroom, that carpet isn't random kid decor. It mirrors the Overlook Hotel pattern from The Shining. The same hex shapes that make every hallway feel cursed. Same vibe, same geometry, same unease. Pixar plants it right where the villain lives, so the room feels wrong before a single mutant toy moves. Then they tag the scene with Pixar fingerprints. The Luxo ball sits in the background like a clean, innocent toy, inside the dirtiest house in the movie. And if you scan the details like you're reading a crime report, A113 pops up as a tiny license plate style detail. One of those codes that only exists for people who pause and zoom. Here's the problem. Toy Story is about friendship. So why hide Kubrick horror under a kid's feet? Because Sid is the first warning that toys aren't just cute. They're watched, owned, controlled. The Overlook carpet reframes Sid's bedroom as a miniature haunted hotel, a place where play turns into obsession. Once you see it, every shot in Sid's house feels staged like a thriller. So what other children's set is secretly built to scare adults? Walter and Jesse. Zootopia hides its nastiest joke inside a public safety plotline. When Judy and Nick trace the Night Howler's operation, the setup suddenly looks like a Breaking Bad lab. Hazmat suits, chemical glassware, industrial lighting. Then Disney hands you the punchline on a name tag. Walter and Jesse. One letter off, same duo, same vibe. The background keeps talking. At the bootleg DVD stand, fake titles like Mayowana and Wrangled sit in the racks, like Zootopia's Underworld is selling counterfeit Disney history. In another blink and you miss it gag, two baby elephants show up wearing Anna and Elsa-style costumes, turning Frozen's royal branding into a street joke. And for the hardcore pause crew, there's an ultra-subtle, hidden Mickey near Clawhauser's cheek, so small it feels like the animator's daring you to prove it. But here's the problem. Zootopia is already a metaphor about fear and labeling. Why pile on meta eggs? Because the movie is also about narratives. Who manufactures danger, who packages it, who profits from it. The lab isn't just a gag. It suggests the panic was engineered, packaged, and sold. And that makes every gag feel like evidence. If the city can sell fake movies and fake villains, what else is it selling you? Red rum, on screen. In Coco, the clue is timed to perfection. Coco looks like a celebration, but it flashes horror for a single breath. Track Dante in that quick cut and you'll spot it. An axe and a red drum that literally reads red rum. A shining nod hiding in a family film like Contraband. It's so fast you only catch it when you rewatch with your finger on pause. Pixar stacks the usual fingerprints around it. The Pizza Planet truck drifts through as a brief pass by cameo. The studio's roaming signature crossing yet another world. And A113 appears on screen again, tucked into the background like a stamped serial code. The kind of detail that makes the scene feel designed, not accidental. Here's the complication. Coco isn't a thriller. It's grief, memory, and music. So why smuggle in red rum at all? Because the real horror in Coco isn't ghosts. It's erasure. In the land of the dead, the scariest thing is being forgotten. Your photo fades, your name stops getting spoken, and you vanish. So the Shining reference stops being a wink and becomes a warning label. Beneath the bright marigolds, there's a countdown. If Pixar can hide red rum in its warmest movie, what's buried in its happiest songs? Lamp in the junk pile. The Princess and the Frog hides Disney relics like they're cursed objects. During Mama Odie's Bayou song Scan Her Clutter, sitting in that mess is Aladdin's lamp. No spotlight, just the wish machine treated like a rusty prop. The street montage keeps escalating. A magic carpet cameo slips by when someone literally shakes it out like it's laundry, turning a miracle into background fabric. At Mardi Gras, King Triton appears as a parade float, the ruler of the sea flattened into beads and papier-mâché. Then the movie gets spooky. A Madame Leota face shows up as a voodoo mask detail, haunted mansion energy leaking into New Orleans. And in Dr. Facilier's Shadow Friends, a Jack Skellington silhouette appears, like Nightmare Before Christmas is parked inside his magic. But here's the problem. This film is about work, choice, and earning your future. So why litter it with wish objects and haunted icons? Because that's the subtext. In this world, magic is everywhere, and it's cheap. Artifacts get traded, repurposed, and used by whoever's desperate enough. The lamp isn't a promise, it's a warning. Shortcuts always come with teeth. So which Disney holy object is sitting in the background, quietly telling you the opposite story? Belle, blink, gone. The Hunchback of Notre Dame hides a multiverse inside the Festival of Fools crowd. While Paris explodes with color, Belle walks through the background quietly reading. A blink and you miss it cameo that feels like she wandered out of Beauty and the Beast and nobody reacted. Disney doesn't stop there. Right after Belle passes, Aladdin's magic carpet gets carried through the crowd like it's a street prop, not a flying artifact. And buried in the chaos, a Pumbaa-like warthog appears being carried along, a quick Lion King echo stuffed into medieval France. Here's the complication. Hunchback is one of Disney's darkest stories. Cruelty, obsession, and a villain who believes he's holy. So why sneak in cameos at all because the crowd is the mask? The movie keeps telling you this is a party while the horror happens under the noise. Those cameos work like confetti, bright distractions that make you stop scanning for danger. Rewatch it, and the eggs become the thesis. Disney is showing you how spectacle can hide brutality in plain sight. Exactly what the festival does to Quasimodo. So when a Disney movie throws a celebration at you, ask the darker question: what is it trying to make you look away from? Boo's toy above Nemo. Finding Nemo turns a dentist office into a prison, and Pixar hangs a crossover right over the cell. When Nemo is stuck under that glass dome, look above the chair. Boo's toy mobile from Monsters Incorporated is dangling there, a bedroom relic floating over a fish who thinks he'll never see the ocean again. The waiting room keeps snitching. A kid sits there reading a Mr. Incredible comic, which means The Incredibles exists as pop culture inside Nemo's world, not just as another movie for us. Outside the dentist office, the Pizza Planet truck speeds by in a drive-by, the same vehicle that keeps accidentally surviving every Pixar timeline. And if you scan the labels like you're reading evidence tags, A113 appears as a background code, stamped into the environment like a serial number. But here's the problem. These eggs are cute, so why place them in the claustrophobic sequence? Because that's the theme. Nemo isn't lost in nature. He's collected, displayed, and renamed. The cameos reframe the aquarium as a museum of Pixar itself, worlds boxed up, cataloged, and put behind glass. So if Boo's mobile can hang over Nemo's captivity, what other Pixar comfort item is hiding in a scene that's actually horror? Scar is a rug. Hercules does something brutal for a Disney comedy. It turns Scar into clothing. During the portrait scene, the Hercules is wearing a lion pelt that looks exactly like Scar for a second. Dark mane, face, everything. It's the payoff to the Lion King's throw rug joke, except now it's literal. Then the background starts haunting you. The muses appear as singing busts and transitions, a living statue gag that echoes Haunted Mansion vibes, stone faces that suddenly talk. Hades' crew even slips in modern parody. Payne's Air Herc shoes flash like a Nike knockoff, turning hero worship into branding. And if you catch the prop joke, there's the IXII dial gag, Roman numerals standing in for 911. So the movie is literally dialing modern panic into an ancient myth. But here's the problem. Hercules is sold as clean legend building. So why mix dead villains, haunted statues, and modern consumer jokes? Because that's the reframe. This isn't Greece, it's celebrity culture. Heroes are products, monsters are content, and even Scar becomes merch when the camera isn't looking. The rug isn't just a cameo, it's a thesis. Disney recycles everything, especially its villains. So who else got defeated off screen and quietly turned into a prop? The ride is in it. Haunted Mansion doesn't just reference the attraction, it rebuilds the ride on screen and dares you to recognize the track. The stretching room sequence mirrors the expanding portrait trick, teaching you to scan corners like the ride trained you. Then the confirmation stack. The hitchhiking ghosts appear as direct ride callouts. The famous trio turned into an on-screen stamp. The Hatbox Ghost shows up too, one of the park's most iconic characters, treated like a legend you're supposed to already know. Madame Leota's seance look is recreated with the same floating head vibe, turning a theme park gag into occult imagery. And in the set pieces, you'll catch Doom buggy-style chair and vehicle nods, framing characters like passengers being dragged through a loop. But here's the complication. If the movie is this faithful, doesn't that kill the mystery? No, because the references are the trap. The ride is a circuit. The movie becomes a circuit. You're not watching a haunting. You're watching a familiar path wearing a new face. Once you notice that, every scene feels pre-programmed, like you can't step off the track. So what other Disney attraction is secretly a finished screenplay?